what is rest?
So I think rest is different things for different people, but it's anything that helps you to relax, helps you to switch off from worrying, and helps you to take a break and take a pause, but it can be a very active thing while you do it. It hasn't got to mean sitting in a chair doing nothing. And I think we need to start taking it seriously in the way that sleep has started to get taken seriously now. People will talk about the sleep deficit. I think there seems to be a rest deficit as well. It's something we do at the end of the day when, or not even at the end of the day, it's something we do when everything else is done. If everything else gets done and there's time, then maybe we rest.
I guess in some ways, rest has a PR problem, and that if we could value rest in the way that you make a very strong case for in your book, then maybe we'd see more posts that, hey, just chilling on my sofa, hashtag resting. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? In some ways, giving it a bit of a PR uplift.
Yeah. And I think that will take a while to get that to happen, because I think...
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. But there's there's an interesting researcher called Sylvia Bellessa who's done studies with a fake sort of Facebook profile. And it's about a woman called Sally Fisher. And sometimes the posts say things like 5 p.m. on a Friday, finished with work, that's no more work for me till Monday. Or 1 p.m. on a Thursday, I've got an hour for a long lunch. And that's the not so busy Sally Fisher. And then there's a version of her that's really busy, which says things like 5 p.m. on a Friday, I'm still working, I've got loads to do. And 1 p.m., I'm just stopping for 10 minutes to grab a quick lunch, I haven't got any more time than that. And they ask people what they think of them both. Now, they don't comment on their slightly dull social media posts, but what they do comment on is that they think that busy Sally Fisher is probably better at multitasking, that she has a more meaningful job, and that she's more successful. So we are judging people by this. And in fact, if people do get an hour for lunch every day, which is so rare these days, we're somehow disapproving of that, when actually, why shouldn't they? If they can, that's great. What I think is interesting is that we feel so busy now, and we'll say this is a 21st century thing. But if you look at time use surveys, people used to also be just as busy, say in the 1950s. People didn't have loads more spare time then, but it doesn't feel like that. If someone says to me, how are you? I'll say, oh, I'm really busy. You know, that's how's work. And I'll say, oh, it's busy, you know, a little bit too busy really. And that does feel true. But on the other hand, how much is that also a sort of claim to status to say, oh, well, if I'm really busy, I must be quite important and quite in demand. Yeah. And it's interesting that if you think back to, I don't know, say in the 19th century, gentlemen of leisure, as they were gentlemen there, the rich ones, they would be showing off that they could, you know, go to the country and do nothing at all. And now, if you look, say, on Instagram at the richest, most famous celebrities in the world, a lot of what they're doing is being busy. I mean, they're showing you all the things they're doing. They're not just lying around doing nothing at all. Their status is partly about being busy. So now success looks different now from how it did. I think success now looks like busyness.